Okay, Bookakes, this week we're going to learn about 3D shapes. So last week we learned about 2D shapes. What makes a shape a 2D shape? Well, 2D shapes are flat. So you can see that this is a picture of a square and it is flat on my board. So we learned about triangles, circles, rectangles, squares. Those are all 2D. The first 3D shape I want to talk about this week are called cubes. So here is a cube. As you can see, cubes are not flat. If a shape is not flat, we call that a 3D shape, three-dimensional shape. On a cube, we have what we call faces. So this face of the cube is a square. Let's count how many faces it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This cube has 6 faces, which means 6 sides. You know when a three-dimensional shape is a cube when all of the faces are the exact same. So this cube has 6 faces. They are all squares, and squares have all equal sides. So that's how I know that this shape is a cube. All of the sides are the exact same, and they are all made up of squares. The next shapes I want to show you are called spheres and cylinders. So over here, I did the 2D shape of a circle. There's a 3D shape that might remind you of a circle, but it's not a circle, and we call that a sphere. So spheres just look like this. A sphere is a nice rounded shape, and it is three-dimensional. So remember, three-dimensional means it's not flat. The next shape is called a cylinder. So cylinders are another three-dimensional shape. They do have 2 circle faces, and then it's rounded right here around the middle. So this is called a cylinder. Let's look at a sphere and a cylinder. What do you notice is different about them? So a sphere has no faces. That's how I know that this is a sphere. Over here, my cylinder, it has 2 faces. It has a circular face here and a circular face right here. So that's one of the main differences between a sphere and a cylinder. This next shape is called a cone. So a cone looks like this. A cone has 1 circle face right here at the bottom. It's got a pointy top. No matter which way I turn it, this will always be a cone. So if it's like this, it's still a cone. If it's like this, it's still a cone. If it's like this, it's still a cone. So a cone has a circle face at the bottom, and it's got like a pointy tip here at the very top. Let's go through a few more 3D shapes. So the next shape I want to show you is called a pyramid. What kind of faces do you see on the pyramid? So I see triangle faces, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 triangle faces on a pyramid, and at the bottom there is a square face. Not all pyramids need to have a square face at the bottom. You can have any polygon face at the bottom of a pyramid. A pyramid has 3 or more triangular faces, and the bottom of a pyramid can be any polygon. So it doesn't have to be a square. This one has a square face at the bottom, but it can be any polygon face at the bottom, and 3 or more triangular faces makes a pyramid. And of course, there's a little point here at the top. The last shape I want to show you is called a prism. So a prism, this is just one example of a prism. But prisms have two identical bases. So what does that mean? That means the one side of a prism is the exact same as the other side of a prism. And usually the shape is called a polygon. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be called a hexagonal prism because that's where the name comes from the base. Another thing about prisms is that the rest of the faces are rectangular. So here I have a hexagon shape on this side, a hexagon shape on the other side. So I know that this is going to be a hexagonal prism. This is another type of prism. So I can see that I have a triangle base right here and another triangle base over here, and all around are rectangles. So this one would be called a triangular prism because of the triangle faces. That is the base of my prism. Triangular prism. And this one, because it has 6 sides, this is called a hexagonal prism. And I know it's a prism because this side and the other side are identical. They're the same. And then there's rectangles all the way around. Another prism I have right here, you can tell that this base right here is a square. The other side is also a square. So this is called a square prism. I got a square face here, a square face on the other end, and all the way around are rectangles. So this would be called a square prism.